John McCain has now accused players in this scandal in Phoenix and potentially beyond of criminal activity. He's called for the FBI and the Justice Departments to step in. He and his fellow senator from Arizona, Jeff Flake, have now called for General Shinseki, a decorated war hero who now heads the VA, to step down. And if he doesn't step down, has called for the President of the United States to fire him, while accusations fly of criminal misconduct in that organization. Mike Emanuel on Capitol Hill, if in fact what the Inspector General has now reported is true, they lied about what they were doing, they covered their tracks, they said that they weren't doing something that was criminal, and they were allegedly criminally covering it all up. This thing appears to have just exploded.
No question about that, Shep. The bottom line is there are allegations some 40 veterans may have died while waiting for medical treatment, that this VA facility had secret lists, that they weren't coming clean about what was really going on there. And you hear the word systemic, saying that this probably went on a lot of places around the country, and that perhaps people were given bonuses for covering it up and to make things look good at the VA facilities. And so pressure clearly building. A lot of people are starting here on Capitol Hill to think that criminal activity went on in Phoenix and perhaps elsewhere as well. And so you have the call for the Attorney General to launch a criminal probe, but also calls for Shinseki's head after some of the people who are now calling for his resignation were very careful about that early on. But this Inspector General's report has convinced some of those who were holding off that indeed it is time for Shinseki to go. Mike Emanuel on Capitol Hill. Our breaking news coverage continues. John McCain and Jeff Flake, both of Arizona, both calling for this decorated war hero to either step down or be kicked out because of what appears to John McCain to be criminal activity. Our senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano, is on the phone with us now. Judge, I know you've heard these accusations. Does this rise to the level of criminal? And if so, how high does it rise?
Well, I think it clearly rises to the level of criminal, Shep. Think about it. The documents that these VA people had to fill out in any communication they sent to the veterans, or in any recording of anything they did with the veterans, are federal documents. So the intentional falsifying of information on a document that the federal government requires you to prepare is standing alone a crime, even if no one is harmed as a result of it. So add to the probable falsification of documents the fact that innocent human beings died as a result of this. And now you go from filing false reports with the federal government to criminally negligent homicide caused as a result of these false reports. So now you go from 5 years in jail to 20 years in jail, assuming the evidence is there and the charges stick and a jury convicts.
The chairman, Jeff Miller, as mentioned by Mike Emanuel earlier, said, and I quote, "Right now there are two things that need to happen. Attorney General Eric Holder should launch a criminal investigation into the VA's widespread scheduling corruption, and VA Secretary Eric Shinseki should resign immediately." One of the biggest defenders of America's war heroes in all of public life is John McCain. Judge, he's lost John McCain and doesn't seem to realize that he doesn't have defenders now. I can't imagine this thing coming out and the president not acting in one way or another, at least accepting a resignation.
Well, I think you're right, Shep. For someone like General Shinseki to lose the support of John McCain because of events that occurred in McCain's home state, McCain, a champion of all things military and veteran for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is his own heroic background, will completely and totally undermine former General and Secretary Shinseki. On the other hand, I don't know how Attorney General Holder can, with intellectual honesty, resist the offers to investigate this. There's no way that he can look the other way. He doesn't have to do it himself. He doesn't even have to do it out of Washington. He can direct the U.S. attorneys around the country to do it. But he has to do something in light of these developments and this Inspector General report.
All right, Judge Napolitano, thank you. I'm getting some breaking from the Associated Press now, but it may be the things on which we've already been reporting. I'll pull it up here and then we'll move on. This coming from, well, Associated Press is reporting what we have. General Shinseki faces calls to step down left and right. My guess is this news will develop within the next half hour of this newscast, and we will follow every development for you.